Some of the boxes I bought for $40, $50 sell for $5,000. So I blew it as a story of my life, you know.
Right idea, wrong time. The Jeff Edelstein story, yeah. Welcome once again to Low Rollers, the weekly gambling industry podcast presented by CasinoReports.com in partnership with DraftKings Casino. I'm Third Planet Media senior editor Eric Raskin, regretfully informing you that the summer sports doldrums have officially arrived now that the World Cup is over, so we can all go back to ignoring soccer until 4 years from now. And the MLB All-Star Game is over, Wimbledon is over, there are no more golf majors, it's pretty much just regular season baseball. But what do you know, the NFL Hall of Fame game is just 2 weeks away. So spend some time with your family now, enjoy a little low-key summer downtime, because in a couple of weeks you will have better things to do. And you don't have to wait 2 weeks for a reunion of the old Low Rollers podcast hosts. Rather, you just have to wait a few more minutes. Maybe less, depending on your preferred podcast listening speed. But I will be joined shortly by my old co-host, Jeff Edelstein, for his every 2 or 3 months or so visit. And there's a lot to catch up on. Jeff was at Fanatics Fest last week, so we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about trading cards. We'll do a post-game analysis of Jeff's interview last week with Dave Portnoy. Jeff will reveal the latest online operator to ban him, and somehow we'll veer into chatter about Better Off Dead, American Pie, and Superbad. But before I bring on Jeff, and before I get into the news of the week, I want to tell you about DraftKings Casino. A big thank you to DraftKings Casino for sponsoring Low Rollers, and huge news for online casino players. Lightning Link High Stakes is now on DraftKings Casino. They say lightning never strikes in the same place twice, right? Well, not true in the world of online gaming. Lightning can strike many times over, and now at DraftKings Casino, new players just have to make a minimum of $5 in wagers, and they get 1,000 spins, including 500 Lightning Link spins. So that's a lot of chances for lightning to strike. Lightning Link has the hold and spin bonus feature and linked progressive jackpots, so new casino players strike now to land this exclusive flex spins offer only at DraftKings Casino. For the promotion, you must be 21 years of age, physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or West Virginia. Void in Canada. Eligibility restrictions apply. 1 per new DraftKings Casino customer. Opt-in required. Spins issued as 50 spins per day upon login for 20 days. Game availability may vary. Offer ends August 23rd. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Okay, so a lot of news out there this week to discuss, so I'm going to do 3 quick hits, one related to an article on each of the 3 Third Planet Media sites. First up, Lottery Geeks. There's actually been quite a bit of interesting lottery news this week, but the biggest story has to be Powerball crossing the Atlantic, launching in the UK. And everyone should check out Matt Osgood's article on jackpot fatigue and how draw games now provide these occasional massive spikes in interest, but the trade-off is the rest of the time, nobody cares. It's kind of like soccer in the US. Sorry, soccer fans, I know, that's twice. But check out Matt's article. He has some great lottery industry insights and is sounding the alarm that win belief is in decline, and that's potentially very problematic. Next story, on in-game, there were a few scandals and schemes this week, and I'll skip the Truth Social madness because there is more than enough political talk in my conversation with Jeff, but I do want to say a word about this Ryan Gold story. He's the Arizona Cardinals director of scouting who's been suspended for allegedly violating league gambling rules, but more interesting to me, for allegedly leaking information about who the Cardinals would be taking in the NFL draft. He denies it. We'll see how it plays out. Hard for me to jump to any conclusions, except I doubt the league would suspend him if they weren't confident in what they were accusing him of, but, you know, I guess it ties into the Truth Social story that I was trying to avoid commenting on, but things just get messy when you can bet on things based on information that some people have. If I were running a sports book, I might just be inclined to stop taking draft bets, and if I lose some customers, I lose some customers. There is a breaking point with all this stuff. Last topic. On Casino Reports, I wrote about the news from BetHog. They're pivoting away from crypto casino, shutting that down, and going full-time into Sentient Studios, their AI live dealer product. At first, I was a little skeptical, figuring the crypto casino must be struggling, but the more I think about it, the more I take Nigel Eccles at his word that BetHog was doing just fine, but there's so much interest in AI dealer that it just made sense to put all their resources into that. I will say, I played some actual human live dealer this week, because I was required to if I wanted to unlock a bonus, and God, is it slow. Waiting around while the dealer kibitzes and while other players are drawing lots of cards after splitting 2s against a 10. Yes, this happened. It's not for me. AI live dealer, if you keep the game moving, I'm potentially interested. And with that, I should keep the podcast moving. Let's get to this week's interview. Please enjoy a few seconds of music, and when I come back, I'll be joined by my friend and yours, Jeff Edelstein. For the first time in the Low Rollers video era, the original co-hosts of the podcast reunite. I am delighted to welcome the only man I know who rolls as low as I do, senior writer for Third Planet Media, host of the Business of Betting podcast, proprietor of the world's most pro-robot toilet Substack. He is, of course, Jeff Edelstein. Jeff, welcome back to the house you half built.
What do you mean pro-robot? What am I doing?
Pro-robot toilet, specifically, that you wrote a...
Oh, that's right, the toilet. Yeah. I'm ready to outload, what's the word I'm looking for? Send off all my life's works, loves, likes, and hates to the robot overlords.
Starting with the toilet.
Can I tell you a quick story before we get started?
Absolutely.
Well, I guess we got started. We do Lottery Geeks, one of our websites, right? This is a robot story, for the record. Lottery Geeks is one of our websites. If you remember, a couple months back, 93 people won $1 million playing Powerball.
91, 93, something. I forget the exact number, but yes.
Whatever it was, right. Some ridiculous number. We woke up in the morning and you made a note to me, said we need to write a story about this. And I went over to the old ChatGPT machine and I said, how the hell could something like this happen? And it told me, more or less, it gave me the row, it gave me the 16, and then we figured out later it was the row. I was talking to somebody from an unnamed state lottery department. Right?
Okay.
But this is the story they told me. At 11 o'clock that night, they see that 93 people won. They call an all-hands meeting. Everyone to the office. They got to figure out what happened. Because in that one particular state, a few dozen people won some money. They were afraid that the fix was in blah, blah, blah. And they said they spent about 6-7 hours trying to deduce what happened. And then somebody finally figured it out. I'm like, yo, you guys ever hear of AI?
So they were just without asking AI, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, without asking, They just had a 6 or 7 hour meeting trying to figure out what the anomaly was here. Wow.
That is the truth.
That is maybe the best commercial for ChatGPT that there's ever been.
I love AI, dude. I really do. I love it. I use it probably 50 times a day.
Am I speaking to Jeff Edelstein right now, or have you built a full AI version of yourself?
I'll tell you this much. The moment that I can, you will be talking to that person. I'm hoping that it's going to be multiplicity.
That's exactly what I was just thinking of, yeah.
That would be ideal.
So real Jeff just gets to hang out, do nothing. Hopefully AI Jeff is not the one who ultimately spends all the time with your wife.
Well, it depends on the day.
Right. It depends what kind of time we're talking about, right.
Depends how nice. She might prefer the AI Jeff, to be quite honest with you.
Right. Okay. All right, we're not quite there yet. Let's stay in the present moment. And the main topic that I want to talk to you about this week is Fanatics Fest. You were there last week for a day. You wrote about it for Casino Reports, mostly focusing on the trading card element, and we will talk about that. But first, for me and for others who've never been to a Fanatics Fest, can you paint a picture of what it's like, what crazy stuff catches your eye, how crowded it is, etc.?
It's crowded. Because I'm a highfalutin member of the media, I was able to get in early on Thursday. They had a preview 9 to 1. And it was not that crowded up, but there were people there. But it wasn't completely open to the public ticket holders. 1 o'clock when people could come in, by 2 o'clock you were, that feeling of leaving a concert at a stadium? That's how crowded it was. Jam-packed. I've been to the Javits Center before in New York I used to work covering the day spa industry in another lifetime, right? And I went to a day spa, worldwide convention at the Javits Center there. And it took up about a 20th of the real estate. I mean, it took up the Fanatics Fest, upstairs, downstairs, side stairs. Everywhere was something, jam-packed Fanatics Fest. The main floor was mostly like trading collectibles and stuff. Then like the lower level was for where the autographs and all that stuff was. I mean, this is the third time they've done it. It was even bigger than it was last year. I mean, if you're interested in collectibles, if you're interested in the autograph scene, if you're interested in all that stuff, you gotta go. It's awesome. Like, I have thousands of baseball cards still. Like, they're just like collecting dust. I think next year I'm gonna go. There was a billion places you could sell stuff. If you're into that stuff, you gotta go. If you're going for the sports book, don't go. There's nothing there.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned that as a little aside at the end of your piece that there was a Fanatics sportsbook area and it was tiny, barely had a presence. And I'm curious, what about Fanatics Casino? Was that represented at all?
Within the sportsbook area, I guess a little bit, because you had but not really, because, we're in New York where it's not legal. So no. So I guess the answer would be no. But they would give you these little chips. If you had a Fanatics account, if you had this thing, if you had that thing, then you could use the chips to play whack-a-mole or spin a wheel, and they would give you fan cash, which you could use right on the floor to buy, the dealers accepted fan cash. So you could use it there, or you could just pocket it. Well, I pocket it, and I'm slowly losing it, 8,000 to 1 parlays, but it's fun.
So you pocketed it digitally, you're saying you put it in your Fanatics wallet, and okay.
But even that wasn't that crowded. I'm sure I guess it picked up eventually, but like, this was a 4-day thing, and every athlete, LeBron, and everybody, this is like it was the center of the sports universe for 4 days, no question. If you're interested in any of that stuff, I highly recommend it. I mean, it's awesome if you're into that stuff. Like, I used to be a pretty heavy baseball card collector before I discovered DFS, for real. Like, from 07 to 14, I was like in the card streets a lot. And two things about that. One, if I was in it like I was then now, I'd be in hog heaven at Fanatics Fest. And two, if I just bought, like, I would buy like a few $100s worth of boxes, rip them open, sell them on eBay, sell the cards on eBay. It was for fun, right? And hopefully a little profit. The boxes I was buying for $40-$50 10 years ago are selling for $800, and they're shitty boxes. Some of the boxes I bought for $40-$50 are selling for $5,000. So I blew it. As a story of my life,
Right idea, wrong time, the Jeff Edelstein story, yeah. Drilling down on that, it seems from your piece that, on the one hand, kids sort of gambling with trading cards has been around since our childhoods, and prior to that, I saw one Twitter response mention stamp collecting when our parents were kids. But it's the scale of the money involved and the prevalence of direct gambling elements that you would say has changed a lot from what I remember.
100%. You saw the tweet that I posted from the Collect account. It was a kid. He bought a box and sold a car for $80,000. Like, this is not normal. But yeah, there's a huge gambling element now with it. Like sites like Arena Club and dozens other. I can't even name them all. I have yet to sign up for one because it's going to be a very downward spiral where there's price points, $25, $50, $100, up to like 1,000 maybe, and you're spinning a wheel and like you win a card. And you can either keep the card, they can buy the card back from you, they'll send you the card, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, I mean, the way I feel about gambling, right? It's very simple. Are you putting money down with the expectation of getting more money back? If the answer is yes, you are gambling.
Not even expectation, but with the possibility of getting more money back.
Yes, and that goes from flipping a coin to buying a house, as far as I'm concerned. It's all gambling. It's just, it's a question, of how quickly can your bet go to zero? You're playing blackjack in a second. You're buying a house, hopefully never, right? Who buys a house saying, I'm buying this house and I hope I lose money on the deal?
Yeah. I guess as things you can gamble on go, there's less volatility to buying a house than there is to the spin of a wheel, but it is still a form of gambling. Yeah.
Yes, that's my definition.
I guess the thing that strikes me about the scale of the trading cards thing is just, as a kid, I was motivated to buy cards and trade cards that would, they try and make money off of it. But we're talking about me maybe spending $10 or $20 in a month, and the top end cards in my collection being worth like $50 maybe. We were trying to make money, sure, but nobody I knew was trying to get rich off of trading cards. And it seems that's what the mindset has shifted to. This is a way to actually get rich. That was a big part of your observation, I guess, from the floor of this, or maybe you knew it already, kind of, but yeah.
The word I would use to describe this industry right now is frothy. Like, I have a hard time imagining that it holds, but like, there's so much, like, it just seems like, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of money in the capital T, capital H hobby right now. One guy that I talked to, Adam Martin from Dave and Adam's Card World, which is one of the biggest like online retailers. They've been in business for 40 years. He said that he thinks it's Fanatics, basically. Fanatics bought Topps for $500 million like 5 years ago, which now seems like the bargain of the century. And as I said, they put so much marketing muscle behind the hobby that it, and now like they're, like Ohtani pitches a no-hitter and hits 3 home runs tonight. There's a trading card tomorrow, right, that are selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, it is, I don't know where it ends, but it's bonkers right now. Bonkers.
Kind of an aside, but I attended one trading card show in my life as a 12, 13-year-old, whatever. It was at the Valley Forge Convention Center, which I don't know if you have a guess as to what the Valley Forge Convention Center is now, but something else that starts with the words Valley Forge, where gambling takes place. So, if we needed some additional sign that it's all gambling, maybe that's it. That the one trading card show I've been to is now a casino.
Yeah, it's all gambling.
All right, let's talk about your podcast, The Business of Betting. You had an A-list guest last week. Very A-list by our standards, but kind of A-list real-world standards, or at least at the B-plus list real world, maybe at the lowest. Anyway, is there a story to how you managed to line up Dave Portnoy that's worth telling?
Not really. I messaged him, I DM'd him rather on Twitter. I had DM'd him previously for a story I wrote, I don't know if it was for us or for our old company, about your favorite playing card in the deck. I think, was that what it was? Or your lucky? I don't know. And he answered and said, dumb question. But like, he gave me an answer, but he did say dumb question. So I think I reached out to him maybe like when I first got Business of Betting and he didn't respond back. This time I asked him if I got him because of any reason. I think I put in there, that I'd start going to Yom Kippur services again if he came on the podcast. Play the Jew card. I DM'd him. He said, sure. I said, do I set it up with one word? Sure. I said, do I set it up with you or somebody else? He's like, Monday's wide open. This is like Thursday. He's like, Monday, 11 a.m. And that was it. I just sent an email. I like him. I don't agree with him on everything, but I like the way he carries himself. I really do. And I thought he was a very good guest. And I was a little nervous going into it, because I didn't want to completely get down on my knees for the guy, you know what I'm saying? But like, I think I did a pretty good job. I mean, we broke a little bit of news in the process, where he said that he's got billionaires knocking on his door. It was fun, he was a good interview. Not everyone's a good interview. People might be saying this isn't a very good interview.
Anyone saying this is not a good interview can screw off. But this is a great interview. But I told you this privately, but I'll repeat it here that, I wasn't a fan of Portnoy going in, just kind of not my kind of guy. I'm no more a fan of him now, but I was thoroughly entertained by the interview. So, good job is what I'm saying there, I guess. But yeah, obviously the mayoral talk got the most traction. I think we can agree prior to 2016 and Trump, we would have said of Portnoy, this guy can't actually win political office. Now we have to recalibrate. Obviously, a big personality without political experience can win elections, but my instinct is to say, as far as New York mayor specifically goes, no chance, right? It's a decidedly liberal population, and Mamdani, while hated by some, is overwhelmingly popular there right now. So it feels to me like regardless of war chest, Portnoy couldn't possibly win an election against Mamdani in 2029. Do you push back on that?
I mean, I think many people, very smart people, some of the best people I know, said the same thing in 2016 about Trump. I think if Portnoy ran for mayor, I don't know what what percentage of Staten Islanders go out to vote in these mayoral elections, but it would be 100% if Portnoy runs. I think now I have seen enough in this lifetime to say when it comes to this stuff, nobody fucking knows. I mean, really, because I mean, look, really, I mean, Trump kind of broke the system when it comes to this stuff. Nobody thought he was going to win the Republican nomination in 2016. Nobody thought he was going to win the presidency. Nobody thought he was coming back and winning again. So, I mean, can Portnoy win? I mean, he'd have the backing of the tabloids. I see. Here's the thing about Portnoy that he explained, and I asked him this question at one point. I mean, because one thing I like about Portnoy, it's just DNA, and like you push back on this, I know, but the DNA is this: middle-aged white Jew from the Northeast, right? there's like, I can spot one, put 100 men in a room. I'll find the one. I'll find the, you know what I'm saying? And I said, and his parents are liberal. And I said, did you grow up liberal? And he said, yeah, the New York Times and CNN, but I feel much the same way about liberalism and the Democratic Party and all of it, where I grew up, I spent most of my adult life thinking of myself as a liberal, when being a liberal meant, yeah, you're gay and you want to get married? I don't care. You want to smoke weed? Knock yourself out. Today, being a liberal, like, I've been out-liberaled by the liberals, right? And so, listen, there's a lot of things about, like, the far left that irritate me irritate/scare me just as much as the far right. The difference, though, is the far right wears a uniform and you see him coming, The far left, not so much. I am the furthest thing from MAGA. At this stage of my life, I kind of want to be a Republican. The Republicans won't really let me be a Republican. I really would, I mean, I voted, but that's the way I've lived my life politically here in New Jersey. I voted for Mikey Sherrill this time around, the Democrat, but I voted for Christie twice, right? I'm not voting on party. I'm voting on person, and oftentimes voting on personality, right? Which, again, describes how Trump got there, and it would describe, listen, in another time, in an alternate universe, the way the political winds blew, Trump could have been a Democrat.
He was for a decent chunk of his life before entering politics formally, yeah.
Right, and if the money came pouring in from that, who knows? Like, do you actually believe that Trump believes what he believes? You know what I'm saying?
We're getting into dangerous territory, but I don't believe in Trump's belief system goes beyond what serves him, yes.
All this to say, Portnoy isn't MAGA. Portnoy, I don't even think he'd call himself a Republican. I think Portnoy, sits in this, kind of vast 70% of the population that is, economically conservative, socially liberal, but not here, not there. I'm all for transgender people, but maybe not on the girls' volleyball team. There's so much nuance there that the far left and the far right don't play in this nuanced sandbox, right? I think there's just a lot more nuance out there than people want to believe. And so I think, yes, Portnoy would have a chance if he decided to really do it.
So I tend to disagree, other than it's still 3 years away and a lot can change, with regard to Mamdani's popularity. Mamdani, where he is now, I don't think Portnoy stands a chance against him, but I guess I'm open to the idea that 3 years from now could be very different. But so let's say I'm pricing Portnoy. Yeah, you can get him at 25 cents with the idea that if he doesn't run, you just get your money back. Is that a good enough price?
I get my money back?
Right. If he doesn't run, there's no bet. So it's Portnoy against Mamdani, 29. You take him at 25 cents. Okay.
I'd go up to 50. I would go up to 50 cents. If it was one-on-one and that was the race, I would go 50-50. Absolutely.
We're going to have to get some side action going with a lot of asterisks and caveats and if this, then that. But okay.
The ultimate low roller bet, that's a contract.
People have no idea just how little we'll risk on this, but we'll risk something. Pride for the most part. But yeah. All right. A couple of other topics I want to hit quickly. Are you up for talking about your latest New Jersey online gambling site banning situation?
Yeah, I haven't even written the story. I mean, well, by the time this airs, I'll have written the story.
By the time this comes out, the story should be written, but yeah.
This one, what's that author? The guy who turns into a cockroach? Kafka. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Kafka is an author. I don't know about the cockroach, but sure. Kafka-esque is the term that people use, yes.
Kafka-esque. We're saying what the sites are? We're fine?
Yeah, I think that's fine. If they've banned you for no good reason, they deserve to be called out.
Well, I don't know why I've been banned. They won't tell me. I've been banned by the BetMGM suite of sites in New Jersey, which is BetMGM, Wheel of Fortune, Party Casino, and Borgata. I cannot tell you the last time I placed a sports bet on any of them. Really, I can't tell you the last time. I will occasionally dabble on the casino there, and I will always, every day, these sites, play this game. Maybe you win 3 free spins, or you win $1 in bonus money that you have to 10x your way out of, or it is pennies. We are literally talking about pennies in the bonus games. I play them every day because I like collecting my little pennies. Because sometimes those pennies, 9 times out of 10, I crap out, I get nothing. Sometimes I win $2-3. Sometimes I win, $10-11. Once I get to $10, which is the minimum amount that you can withdraw, I cash out. While doing this, I'm also, sometimes there'll be spend $100 on casino games with 20 free spins. I'll play $100 of blackjack for my 20 free spins. I'm not screwing them. Like, I'm not APing them in any way.
Right. It sounds like it is bonus use, not bonus abuse.
1,000%. And then I wake up one morning, I get a letter from all of them that I've been banned for no reason. And when I say no reason, I mean that literally, because it says in the letter, we are not going to tell you why you've been banned. Okay? So I wrote them all back. I wrote the New Jersey Gaming, blah, blah, blah. I heard back from nobody. But all the while, I have about $15 floating around these sites, right? So now this is, remember the movie Better Off Dead?
Of course. I know how many dollars you're about to talk about, yeah.
I want my $2. So I figure on principle alone, I want my money. But I can't withdraw because all of the sites have $10 minimums to withdraw. So I go to the sites, I can't withdraw any of my money. It says, contact us. So I contact them, and I'm somehow now completely out of the system. So in order to get my money, step one, name, address, social security, photo ID, the whole thing. I'm not doing all this. It's not worth the $15. But this is complete utter nonsense. Another nail in the coffin as far as I'm concerned when it comes to, the regulated operators. Some of the sites I've been banned from, all right, I was arbing and you caught me. So you want, you don't like it. Even though on Bet365, I was arbing, I'm down $1,800 over there. They still ban me, so you do anything. Other sites that I'm not banned from, I'm limited at some sites to pennies. Sometimes I got banned from because I did something stupid. But it's all too easy to get yourself knocked out of here. To this day, and I'll never know why I got kicked out of the BetMGM sites. But yet, there was never any abuse. I've abused at some other sites. I have found, skeleton keys and abused. And I've been caught. And they just changed the rules. But they still take my money. But here they're not taking my money anymore. So what are you going to do?
The key point is that people out there, us among them, who are trying to implore people use the regulated market, you're protected there, it's safer, you'll get your money, etc. It makes it that much harder to make that argument when you have a site behaving this way over $15 I mean, aside from the banning, which is one part of the issue, but just the failure to get your money, it would seem like such a no-brainer for them to at least make it easy to get your money out of there before they boot you.
Not easy. And so if I had more money, if I had a few $1,000s in there, which I never would because I'd never keep money in these accounts. I think that should be rule number one.
Right. Never keep more than you need to gamble that week. If you're planning to do a whole bunch of best ball entries this week or something and you need $1,000, fine. But otherwise, right. Don't leave the 1,000 just sitting there if you don't have any plans to use it immediately. Yeah.
So yeah, the apps on my phone that are attached to betting apps, it dwindles by the day.
Right. You've just reminded me of my John Cusack story, which isn't really my story exactly, but my college newspaper, we had one celebrity interview that we got in the entire couple years that I was one of the editors of it. John Cusack was coming through New England, and somehow one of our writers decided I'm going to reach out to his publicist and see if he'll meet me so he meets John Cusack at a coffee shop and does an interview with him. And the one thing that really sticks with me from the interview is John Cusack talking about how every single day of his life, someone comes up to him and says, I want my $2. And that person always thinks that they're the first person who ever said it to him.
Because Better Off Dead is, at this point, it's got to be considered an underrated classic, right? Because there's no way kids, it's a cult classic. Somebody, I want my $2. What a shame throwing away a perfectly good white boy like that.
I haven't seen it in forever. It may or may not hold up, but yeah. And that's just a particular line that it gets repeated several times during the movie, and so it's natural to say it to him, but you're not thinking about the fact that everybody says it to him. At least back then. Maybe not anymore.
I still use, I gotta go, my Christmas tree's on fire when I want to hang up the phone sometimes. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. He was talking to his ex-girlfriend. It's not Christmas time. I gotta go, my Christmas tree's on fire. It's just the throwaway line. Great movie. Highly recommend Better Off Dead. All right, this is true though. I haven't seen it in it's gotta be 30 years. So maybe my highly recommended should come with an asterisk.
80s comedies are very hit and miss you can never predict which ones hold up and which one don't. But I watched a bunch with my kids early in COVID, and some of them were great and my kids loved them and I still love them. And a few of them were ooh, how did I ever like this movie? But
you know what? I watched, my son loved, what the hell, with Jonah Hill and Michael Cera, Superbad. That held up great. I sat him down to watch American Pie. Have you seen American Pie?
Not in a while, no.
So slow. Shocking. It's not by 1999 standards, but like by today's standards, it's like they're lingering for minutes in a scene. It's like, man, we got MTV jump cuts, please. This is too much.
My kids love Superbad too, so yeah, that's a modern classic. Yeah. All right, last thing, as it is almost August. Have you started doing best ball drafts yet?
Yeah, not as many as I have in the past. It's more DraftKings than Underdog, because DraftKings keeps, don't ban me, DraftKings. They keep giving me bonus money to do, so I'm doing them there. It's softer there. I mean, everyone knows it's softer there, so is it actually softer there anymore? Probably not.
Once I start putting my entries in, it'll be softer there.
The one thing I'm doing this year, I've decided that I'm not looking to spread ownership out. I'm taking the players that I want when I want them. So it's going to be a lower dollar amount that I'm putting in, but it's going to be like, if I succeed, I'll have a very, very exciting playoff time. You follow what I'm saying? Because I'm going to have a lot of the same names floating around. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Best ball, it's annoying to me at this point, because so much could happen. And, it just takes one player and the whole season gets knocked to shreds in week 15.
Is the drafting still as fun as ever for you, or has that started to lose any of its appeal? I think we agree that like the sweat and the season and the frustration that wears on you, but the drafting was kind of like, I think you've said in the past, worth the price of admission to do a draft sometimes.
I've only done slow drafts so far this year. I haven't done a regular fast draft yet. I don't know why. I think I'm a little, I don't want to say I'm put off by best ball, because I really enjoy it, but like I'm a little like, I'm not as, I'm intrigued. I can't put my finger on why I haven't done it as much, but I haven't done it as much. Part of it is like that knowledge, like this would be the 6th year that I've like been very active doing it. I made the finals the first year with my single bullet. And so, I figured I'd get back there eventually, but not yet. And it's so hard to get to the finals, and it's difficult. It's a hard game, but I don't know. I'll probably end up doing a lot more drafting as we get that's the other thing also. I had decided that I was going to like kind of wait until
preseason kind of starts at least. Yeah.
Yeah. And more soft money coming in, because right now, like for the last 3 months, you're going against people that know what they're doing, We're ending this on a sad, horrible note. I can't put my finger on the why, because I still love it, but there's something that I don't know. I guess because I haven't made the finals in 6 years. I just want to make the finals.
This could be the year, or if not, next year could be the year.
Here's what it is, dude. I've reached an age and stage in my life where if I won $1 million playing best ball, or I win a million maker on DraftKings, I could retire. I could be done working.
Oh, I thought you meant retire from playing DFS.
I could call it a day with $1 million win. I wouldn't, but I could. I'd be in a position where I could work because I wanted to work, not because I had to work. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure on myself, I think, is what it comes down to.
Again, this could be your year. I'm not going to rule it out. I think you have just as much chance of winning $1 million as Dave Portnoy has of being the next mayor of New York. So,
well, that doesn't sound very good. But let me just put this out there in case anyone's listening. If anyone wants to just gift me $1 million, I'm here for it. I have zero shame.
Basically, if there's someone out there listening who absolutely hates your work and wants you to stop doing it, give you $1 million and you'll go away.
Sold. You'll never hear from me again.
All right. Let's see if anyone responds to that. I
ding 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 ding.
You may be facing multiple bids. Yeah, exactly. Who do you have coming up this week on the business of betting, which may have dropped hours before this drops? But what are we teasing this week?
I don't even know. I cannot keep it. We're jam packed. I think it's Adam.
Oh, is this one? Okay, right.
I think Adam was supposed to be our 300th episode, but I got Portnoy, so I literally bumped the one man that could fire my ass.
So Adam Small on an episode that do you talk about it being the 300th, even though it's the 301st?
We do, but who gives a shit?
And on that note, Jeff, always a pleasure having you back here on Low Rollers. I'm sure we'll do it again soon.
You got it, man. I'll see you later.
Okay, my thanks again to Jeff. On the note toward the end about American Pie being slow, again, I haven't seen it recently, can neither confirm nor deny, but I did recently watch Old School with my kids, as well as There's Something About Mary with my son, and there was a very noticeable lack of joke density in both. The funny moments are still funny, but we've gotten used to comedy TV shows and movies trying to make you laugh 3 or 4 times a minute, and Old School and Something About Mary, they'll sometimes go 3 or 4 minutes without an attempted joke. Anyway, very curious how Better Off Dead holds up. That was a favorite of 11-year-old me. Okay, ending the show with a pleasant, unexpected update, probably the last update on my DraftKings World Cup bet on Germany. A quick recap, I bet $10 on them with the promo of getting $2 in bonus bets for every goal they score. I lost the $10, and then I lost the $20 bonus bet on Senegal against Belgium. But here's the update. After the fact, I got another $2 bonus bet. Germany had scored 11 goals. I assumed the promo was capped at $20, but no, the other $2 bet appeared in my account last week. So, feeling impatient and or lazy, I did something you're never supposed to do. I bet it on a pre-made parlay. I know. Pathetic, right? But it was Phillies-Mets on Saturday. DraftKings had sitting there at the top of the app this parlay of Phillies money line, Schwarber homer, Alec Boehm 2+ total bases, and Trey Turner 3+ hits/runs/RBIs. It was plus 1,200. I suspect that was not a great price. I'm sure if I went on unabated, they'd tell me it should be at least plus 2,000. But whatever, quick and dirty, $2 bonus bet, and it somehow hit all 4 legs. So in the end, my $10 Germany bet turned into $24. You gotta love a story that has a happy twist ending. And with that, until next week, this has been Low Rollers, Small Stakes, and Hot Takes.